The Trump administration has been no stranger to controversy, but its actions in the realm of education have sparked a particularly fierce backlash. Since taking office, the administration has sought to dramatically reshape the American education landscape, pursuing an agenda focused on deregulation, school choice, and a significant reduction in the federal government's role in education. These efforts have been met with staunch opposition from Democrats, educators, and many parents, culminating in a series of lawsuits filed by Democratic attorneys general across the country. These lawsuits represent a critical battleground in the fight over the future of American education. The lawsuits challenge a range of Trump administration policies, from mass layoffs at the Department of Education to the cancellation of teacher training grants to the rollback of regulations designed to protect students and borrowers. At their core, these lawsuits argue that the Trump administration has overstepped its legal authority and acted in ways that harm students, educators, and the nation as a whole. The stakes in these legal battles are high. The outcome will have far-reaching consequences for the millions of students, families, and educators who rely on the federal government to ensure access to quality education and protect their rights. As the cases wind their way through the courts, the nation watches and waits, grappling with the uncertainty of what the future holds for American education. One of the most dramatic actions taken by the Trump administration was the mass layoff of employees at the Department of Education. In March of 2025, the department announced its intention to fire over 1,300 employees, representing roughly half of its workforce. This unprecedented move sent shockwaves through the education community, raising serious concerns about the department's ability to function and fulfill its legal obligations. The layoff notices, which began arriving on March 11th, cited a reduction in force as the reason for the dismissals. However, critics were quick to point out that the move appeared to be politically motivated, reflecting the administration's long-standing hostility towards the department and its mission. The department's headquarters in Washington, D.C. was even forced to close temporarily due to security concerns arising from the layoffs, further underscoring the chaos and disruption caused by the administration's actions. 21 Democratic attorneys general filed a lawsuit in Massachusetts federal court seeking to block the layoffs. The lawsuit argued that the firings would cripple the department's ability to carry out its essential functions, including administering billions of dollars in federal funding for low-income students, overseeing special education programs, managing federal student aid programs, and enforcing anti-discrimination laws. The attorneys general contended that the Trump administration lacked the authority to unilaterally dismantle a department created by Congress, and that the layoffs would have devastating consequences for students, families, and educators across the country. Despite the lawsuit and widespread criticism, the Trump administration has defended the layoffs, claiming that the department will be able to maintain all of its statutory programs with a reduced workforce. However, many experts remain skeptical, arguing that the drastic cuts will inevitably lead to service disruptions, delays, and a diminished capacity to effectively oversee the nation's education system. In addition to the mass layoffs, the Trump administration also moved to eliminate key teacher training programs, further fueling concerns about its commitment to supporting educators. In March of 2025, the administration announced the cancellation of approximately $600 million in grants for two programs, the Teacher Quality Partnership Program and the Supporting Effective Educator Development Program. These programs, which provide funding to states and universities to improve teacher preparation and professional development, have been credited with helping to strengthen the teaching profession and improve student outcomes. The administration justified the cancellations by claiming that the programs promote divisive ideologies, a charge that has been widely disputed by educators and researchers. 8 Democratic attorneys general, representing states including New York, California, Massachusetts, and Illinois, filed a lawsuit challenging the grant cancellations. The lawsuit, filed in Massachusetts federal court, argued that the administration's actions were arbitrary and improper and would have a devastating impact on teacher pipelines, particularly in high-need schools and subject areas. The attorneys general pointed out that the cancellations would disrupt teacher preparation programs, force universities to lay off faculty and staff, and ultimately lead to a shortage of qualified teachers, particularly in fields like science, technology, engineering, and math. They argued that the cancellations would disproportionately harm schools and students in low-income communities, exacerbating existing inequities in the education system. The lawsuit seeks preliminary and permanent injunctions to restore funding for the programs. It is just one of many legal challenges to the Trump administration's education policies, as states and advocacy groups fight to protect funding for public education and hold the administration accountable for its actions.